In Midrand, covering the ANC's National General Council.
The organizational report there delivered by the Secretary General of the ANC, Gwede Mantashe. It's quite a critical document which tells the party where it's currently standing and what it should be doing heading forth. And Gwede Mantashe spent about 4 hours detailing the highs and lows of the organization and its current standing. And one of the critical issues which was also raised by President Jacob Zuma during the opening remarks and the political report was that the number of the ANC members is dwindling. Right now, the ANC has just over 69 members rather, and this is from 1.2 million members that the party had back in 2012 when it celebrated its centenary. Just take a listen to what Gwede Mantashe had to say about these numbers dwindling.
You see, the membership, we looked at our membership trend from the 52nd National Conference of the ANC up to date. In the 52nd National Conference in Polokwane, we had 620,000 members. In the Third National General Council in Durban, we had 649,000 members. In the 53rd National Conference, we had 1.2 million members. And we are now having 769,000 members.
Well, now what the party needs to do going forward is how to make sure that they retain the current over 700,000 members that it has and make sure that it gains more members. While some of the issues or the reasons that Gwede Mantashe detailed as to why the party's number of membership has been dwindling is because of something that they called gatekeeping. And this is basically when a branch, senior branch person or senior branch member of the ANC will stop somebody from joining the party. So basically you come, you make that application and you wait for months up until you know whether you are accepted, whether you have a member, whether you do become a member of the ANC. And just heading into next year's elections, this is what Gwede Mantashe had to say.
We said now the Integrity Commission make recommendations to other structures of the ANC. What we are saying is that it should not make recommendations. It should take decisions.
About action again.
Well, right there, Gwede Mantashe was speaking about the Integrity Commission, and basically what the Integrity Commission does is that it makes sure that it safeguards the image of the party at the hands of those members who face serious allegations. The party says that it has been suffering at the hands of these members, and we're back in Mangaung in 2012. The party took a decision that members who are facing serious allegations should actually step down, and they should do that consciously. While the Integrity Committee, when it was set up, didn't have much teeth. Back then, all it could do is investigate and make recommendations to the various structures of the ANC. But now the Integrity Commission has the powers to take a decision. If the Integrity Committee says, for instance, any member who faces serious allegations should step down, that member has to step down. If the Integrity Committee says this member is not doing anything wrong at the, that would make the party suffer, that would make the party's image suffer, then that member wouldn't step down. Well, but what Gwede Mantashe is emphasizing here is that the Integrity Committee's decision does not mean that a member is guilty or not guilty. That decision would be taken by another committee. And heading into next year's elections, it's quite crucial. Gwede Mantashe mentioning that the party expects that the number of electorate support that it has currently would drop to just below 60% heading into next year's elections. And just take a listen to what he had to say about that.
We say the 2009 marked a decline. And then the 2014 we had another 3.25% decline. And therefore, if that trend continues, we may fall below 60%. If you read that report carefully, you don't just look into the numbers. You will also look into what we're highlighting, that 20 years in power as a liberation movement globally, there is normally a decline in the performance of liberation movement after 20 years. That is the...
Well, yesterday when I spoke to Gwede Mantashe about the number of the ANC's electorate support dwindling, he did indicate that the 60% that the party has been receiving internationally, that's regarded as an overwhelming majority. And this time around, he says, even though the party's numbers are expected to drop just below 60%, that does not mean that the party itself is nervous. It's just that they are studying these trends and they'll make sure that they deal with this. And I guess heading into next year's elections, they will definitely step up the campaign. One of those metros that they're really looking at, which could be a very problematic, is the city of Tshwane as well as Nelson Mandela Bay. Remember that the opposition parties has been gunning for those two municipalities and saying that those are the two municipalities that they will be taking over from the ANC. Another issue which isn't really touched by the organizational report is the issue around the ICC. You'd remember during the Al-Bashir matter when the North Gauteng High Court took a decision that when Al-Bashir was here in the country, the government shouldn't have allowed him to leave based on the criminal charges that he's facing at the ICC and based on the warrants of arrest that he's currently facing. While the party says that it really has to relook, government has to relook that decision and why it decided to become a signatory of the Rome Statute, and Gwede Mantashe calling it an imperialist organization. Just take a listen to this.
Our recommendation is that the South African government must review its membership. It's a long, complex exercise, but it must start that process. And our view is that the ICC is an imperialist court, is biased against the poor countries. It is an instrument in the hands of non-members. Many of these big countries are not members. The US is not a signatory.
Well, Gwede Mantashe indicating that the party will give government an instruction eventually to review that decision to sign the Rome Statute, that was the document that founded the ICC. He also indicates that what the party should be doing is to indicate to government rather look at strengthening the African Court of Human Rights and Justice. While the NGC does continue up until Sunday, and we'll continue bringing you all the details from here, from Midrand.